Hello everyone, Father Hoffa here with your next installment of WWW Wednesday Walking with the Word. Today we are Wednesday of the Octave of Easter. It's a joyful time in the church because we are celebrating Easter day after day after day. It's like Easter Sunday for 8 days. That's what the octave means, because there's so much joy. Jesus is risen from the dead. He's triumphed over sin and death, and we're able to say words like Alleluia, and we're able to rejoice in the goodness of the Lord. So thanks be to God for that. And so the gospel accounts all this week are in those immediate moments, all from the different gospel writers in those immediate moments after Jesus rose from the dead. And today we hear the familiar gospel of the way to Emmaus. And when we think about that gospel, we know that the disciples who were walking along, they didn't recognize Jesus. And it was only in the end that they said, "Weren't our hearts burning inside of us?" And the other thing that is on my mind about it, other than being the octave of Easter, of course, is the fact that we have the passing of our Holy Father, Pope Francis. And so you will see that the black bunting is here on the front of the church, and the church is in mourning. Today, Pope Francis's body was moved to St. Peter's Basilica so that the faithful could come and offer prayers and mourn the death of the Holy Father. And then, of course, on Saturday, we will have the mass, or the funeral mass in Rome. That's on Saturday. Friday, we will have the observances here in the diocese. There's a 12:15 pontifical mass at the cathedral, and then we have 6:30 vespers that night for all the faithful to come. So maybe we'll see you at the cathedral. But it's one of those things, as I was thinking about the two things, like we have the joy of Easter and yet the sadness of the Pope. And I think for all of us, we're supposed to find joy in Christ all the time. Joy in our faith, joy in the relationship with Jesus. And yet there are times where we fall into hardship. And how many times do we let our hardships completely overwhelm that burning joy in our hearts? And it's to find a balance. We can celebrate the joy of Easter this week while at the same time mourning the loss of our Holy Father. And when we think about those apostles, those disciples who were on the way to Emmaus, they were looking to do the same thing, but maybe they just weren't trained as well of how to do it. They weren't able to see, we're sad that Jesus died, but we also have to be aware of the good that is happening around us at the same time. And that good that was happening around us, that there was this person, and it was actually Jesus risen from the dead, who's come to us. And so I think for you and I, it's really important for us to try to work and find that balance in our lives. That balance of, yes, we have hardships and we don't want to ignore them, but at the same time, it's important for us to be able to have the joy through the hardship. It's not just one or the other. When we are experiencing hardships, remember that there's also joy. When we have joy, it's also a reminder that there are still difficulties in our life and not to ignore them. We need to acknowledge both, and God gives us the grace not only to acknowledge both, but to deal with both at the same time in a balanced way, in a way that is healthy for us. So that's your challenge for today as we travel through this time of mourning for our Holy Father and also through this Easter octave and we hear the way to Emmaus. Let yourself be burning with joy for Jesus while also experiencing the difficulties in life, and know that God's always there with you, because guess what? We aren't the first to do it. He did it first. He knows what it feels like, and he's always with us. This has been your next installment of WWW Wednesday Walking with the Word. God bless you and have a great day.